big stories. This is good. A good story for everybody.
This is a good day for America.
On KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. The Talk of Las Vegas, also streaming on the Odyssey app. If you don't have the Odyssey app, that's AUDACY. Well, you know what? Your kids are going to hate you. Well, maybe not, but still, it's a good app to have. You get to listen to all the great shows on KDAWN and the Odyssey Network. So a ton of shows on there. So go get that app right now. And also streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Just look up the Mark Hoke Show. You're going to find us and be a part of our live stream. We would certainly appreciate it. You can get in there and put your comments on, because I'm sure we got a lot to talk about. Good Lord. What a crazy week. Crazy as we had TNA Against All Odds. We had NXT Worlds Collide. We had Money in the Bank. Somebody doesn't have a lot of money in the bank. Well, they do, but it's a mess. And a big return last night, and someone kind of tried to BS us about it. We have a lot to discuss. And to help us do that, at least for the first hour, we've got our man from adfreeshows.com as we welcome in Coach Josh Rosenbaum.
Happy Sunday. Good to see you, Mark. It's been a great wrestling weekend, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. It's fantastic. So I'm sorry, I'm just being stupid today. It's been a long week for me as well. So, Coach, before we get into a lot of the stuff that happened in the ring and with WWE, I figured we'd start off with the big announcement that it is now official. April 18 and 19 of 2026, WrestleMania returns for their first back-to-back appearance in a city since 1988 and 1989. I graduated high school in 1988, Coach. That's how long it's been, but WrestleMania is going to be back in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Some people are happy about this, others not so much. Me? Okay, great. Staying home again. That's cool. But a lot of people were annoyed that it's going to be at the same place again. Kind of feels like a little bit of a money grab for WWE. Coach, how are you feeling about WrestleMania coming back to Las Vegas in back-to-back years?
I mean, personally, I'm excited because I live in Phoenix and I enjoy the city of Las Vegas. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of venues. There's great restaurants. But I can see why people would be upset. I enjoyed Allegiant Stadium. I thought it was a great venue for WrestleMania. I thought the resorts put on some great activities and events for the fans that a lot of cities really couldn't be able to pull off. Everything in the proximity of Vegas. I think it's fine for me as a fan. The money grab stuff, that's out of our control. All we can do as fans is to show out and show up for our favorite wrestling events. Is it going to be expensive again? Probably, but it's better than going to Dubai or over in Saudi, where it was going to be rumored that it was going to be taken to. So at least the fans here in America will have another opportunity to be at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very intriguing to see what changes get made. Because one advantage that you have when you return to a site is that you just did it, right? You just went through it all. and that was the first time it's been in Vegas and since the WrestleMania 9. So a great advantage to say, okay, this is what we did last time. This is what went well. This is what didn't, for everybody, not just WWE. And you're going to have an opportunity to do it even better. Now, the question to me is going to be, are we going to keep the cost high again? We're going to talk a little bit later on about TKO's debt. That's the parent company of WWE and UFC. But I'm going to be curious to see how much restructuring they do, and not just them too, but a lot of the indie shows the second time around.
Well, it's always good to get a little practice and fine tune the things, but the prices are out of our control. They're not going down, and they're not. Nothing is going to change. It's only going to probably go up. Monday Night Raw is here in Phoenix, and I was looking on the ticket stuff, and the cheapest nosebleed seats are $150 to see Jay Bruce.
What?
Gunther, $150, and they'll get it. So if people are willing to pay it, WWE is going to continue to charge it. If the price is prohibitive for you, there's a lot of other good wrestling organizations and indies that you can go to and have a great night for $100. But if you love WWE, get ready to shell out because it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I would agree with you. The prices will not be going down; they will be going upward. They got it before and set records. They're going to try and set a record again. So brace yourselves, everybody. That's why you should use the travelshark.com/Hoke show at least and save some money on your hotels like Coach Rosie did last year. So make sure you check that out.
Westgate, great hotel, right there at WrestleCon. Travel Shark got me a heck of a deal.
Yeah, so check out that. Jesse Hyde in the chat box firing away right off the bat. I love it when we get comments in the chat box. Is WrestleMania returning to Vegas going to be part of a multi-year plan for WWE to Vegas? And Ron Killings is back. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'll give the answer to that question. Yeah. Yes, it is. Look, they are very happy with Las Vegas. You've got UFC here already. And despite what WWE might say, that headquarters is coming out here at some point. It's coming here. And it's probably coming here right down the street from where I am in the Odyssey Studios. So brace yourselves. They love it here. I mean, a lot of their guys live here. Nick Khan, the chief financial officer, is from Las Vegas. It's close to California for our good buddy Dwayne. So yeah, Vegas is going to be a multiple site city for WWE. And WrestleMania. There's no question about that. Why wouldn't it be, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to complain about it, put yourself in TKO. If you're owning the business and you can get the rate that you want and sell the tickets for the amount you want and get the profit you want, you wouldn't do it. I know we're thinking as fans, but these are top-notch businessmen that are really trying to get their most bang for the buck. Vegas has no taxes. Vegas has a lot of land and proximity to everything. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so be ready because there's going to be a lot of stuff WWE will be doing in Las Vegas in the future. There's no question about that. But once again, WWE made the official announcement during Money in the Bank yesterday that WrestleMania will be back here on April 18th and 19th. By the way, that's not Easter weekend. Easter is really early next year on April 5th. So you don't get the Easter weekend vacation thing. Sorry, guys, but still not bad. So get ready, Las Vegas, as WrestleMania comes back to Sin City. Woohoo! It's exciting.
Love it.
All right. Coach, wanted to get to talk a little bit about TNA Against All Odds and everything that happened out there because I know you were there. Well, you were there a lot. With
I was
Impact
present.
But first, before I want to mention there was an interesting return as one of our favorite female tag teams is back in the mix, and they had gone through some stuff in WWE, but they are coming home to TNA, and that is the inspiration. Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay are going to be back in TNA as a tag team. Of course, when they went to WWE, they got split up, and it just didn't work. Terrible decision there. They were Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, the Iconics there, in case you forgot. But pretty interesting. Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay just couldn't stay away, could they?
No, and Friday night when they came out in the pre-show, the pop was huge. I mean, Phoenix really came out for the Against All Odds pay-per-view, and when you watch TNA Impact the next couple weeks, I was great enough to see the tapings. Their push is instant, and you're going to see them ascend up the tag team women's division very quickly. That's something that TNA is not the best at, their tag team division. I think the champs are Ash by Elegance, and they're going to be pushed to the moon. And I see them possibly becoming the women's tag team champions at Slammiversary in Long Island. They're over with their fans. Their meet and greet line was long, and the kids and everybody just enjoyed having them back. And they're quirky. They give great promos, and they're not just looks. They're a very good tag team.
Yeah, I mean, I love those two together, and it was just so weird when WWE made the decision to split them up when they were kind of just getting that women's tag team division rolling over there, and then it just didn't pan out, and it wasn't their fault. It was just the way things worked, and so we're going to get to see the inspiration back in TNA, which I'm very excited about. Then Against All Odds, no title changes, but some pretty darn good matches there, Coach. Macklin and your guy Mance Warner dueling it out for the international championship. Beat the hell out of each other. But Macklin survives. Masha Slamovich won her title defense against Lei Ying Lee. The Nemesis held on to their world tag team titles. Trick Williams beat Elijah in a kind of a WWE-esque match for the TNA World Championship. But one I'm curious about, Coach, and I want to find out what your reaction was. Frankie Kazarian goes over on Joe Hendry, and this has been building for a while with Frankie. Tell us a little bit about the reaction to Frankie's win, and where do you think Frankie's going to end up? He's going to finally become a world champion?
Well, it wasn't the Undertaker Brock Lesnar reaction, but you can tell that people in the crowd were authentically shocked. If you went to that odds system you always look at every weekend, Joe Hendry was probably minus 1,000. Everybody cut that promo that he's ready to come back to TNA. He's ready to get back what he lost to Trick Williams, and he came out and lost. And Frankie Kazarian is the king of TNA, and it is his time. Joe's had his time. Joe doesn't need a title. He came out to his music. The fans popped. He got off all of his moves. And who knows? Is Joe Hendry really going to be staying long-term in TNA?
No.
So,
no.
It does behoove them to start building some other people because Joe Hendry's over. Frankie Kazarian gives great matches, gives an awesome promo, is a heck of a heel, and would be a great heel for the baby faces to chase in TNA.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie Kazarian is a guy that just doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Of course, we got to see him a lot when he was in AEW with SCU, but Frankie is a guy that he's 47 years old and just has done everything that everybody has asked him to do. He's been wrestling since 1998, Coach, 98. So, that's 27 plus years, for him. And it's amazing to me that nobody has put him on top at some point yet. So the time's coming for him, though. I mean, they've been keeping him at the top of the card for a while there in TNA. and I'm kind of excited to see Frankie win. And even if he's a heel, I think a lot of people are going to appreciate when that victory finally happens. Tell us a little bit about the rest of the card, Coach. What else stood out to you over there?
Well, the person that stuck out to me the most was Leon Slater. Leon Slater can go, and in the 8-man tag match, he pinned Moose, and he is set to fight Moose at Slammiversary to win the X Division Championship. Leon can go. Leon could fly. That match was great with the Hardys. And there was another newcomer that showed up at TNA, the hometown guy. Word has it in TNA that there might be a hometown guy in every hometown that they go to. I have no idea who the hometown guy is, but boy, the reaction was great. He wrestled great, and I'm excited to see for the future of hometown guy.
Oh, the hometown man is well, we do know who it is. I know you don't, Coach, but a little birdie told me it's our good friend Cody Deaner, who we had on the show, by the way. Now, could be wrong. Maybe it's Chad Gable. I don't know. Chad's wearing a lot of masks, but yeah, with the Cody Deaner, a long time standout in TNA. We'll see if it turns out that the hometown man is Cody Deaner, but a fun debut for him. Yeah, everybody looked like they were having a lot of fun there. And performance of Santino Marella, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us your thoughts on what Santino did, because he had to put up the TNA Director of Authority position against Robert Stone and won. Of course he did. But Santino looked pretty good.
Yeah, and it was a very heartwarming match for Santino, because it was his first match since 2014 after getting neck fusion surgery. Came in and looked like the old Santino. Had the crowd rocking. The Cobra was out. His daughter was great. Tessa Blanchard was part of the match. She stole the Cobra. And to see Santino overcome what he's overcome is not just a testament to his will and fortitude, but to know that a lot of these neck injuries that wrestlers have is not a death sentence for their career. We've seen a lot of guys come back now with the advances in modern medicine, and Santino is just another guy who loves the sport of professional wrestling and will do anything for it. And I was so happy to see him get his flowers and get back in the ring and get back what was his, the Director of Authority in TNA.
Yeah, and good for Santino. And he's got to be having a blast right now, of course, having his daughter there too. So nice win for Santino Marella. I wonder what he'd call me. He always messes up names. He'd probably call me like Mark Hokey Pokey or something like that.
Yeah. He actually won the TNA All-Star. Every event, Carlos Silva now has started a program where one of the talent is named a TNA All-Star. And in Arizona yesterday, Santino was awarded the TNA All-Star. So he is well respected backstage, and he's great.
All right. So when we get back, we're going to take a break and start diving into what happened at Money in the Bank. And wow, a shocking return from somebody who we said goodbye to just last Sunday. Unbelievable. Stick around, everybody. We've got more of the best of pro wrestling on the Mark Hoke Show coming up here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of LifeSource Water. Nevada's desert water is some of the worst in the country. It's tough on your skin, your hair, and your home. Most people turn to old-fashioned salt-based softeners, but there's a better way. With LifeSource, you get clean, conditioned, and healthy water from every tap. No salt or expensive maintenance. Just fresh filtered water that protects your family and your appliances. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
COVID is going around this time of year, so protect what matters. Your weekends, your paycheck, your vacation plans, your job security, your time. Protect yourself so you can do all the things you want to do with all the people you want to do it with, instead of lying in bed with COVID. Talk to your doctor about a COVID-19 vaccine. This message funded by a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Immunization, and Vaccines for Children program, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, there are great rates available for you as well. Call Term Busters for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, call Term Busters. 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class. Exam required to qualify.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's go. Another segment of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Of course, also streaming on the Odyssey app and also live streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Just look up the Mark Hoke Show. You'll find us, I promise. It's not too difficult. Coach Rosie, Josh Rosenbaum from adfreeshows.com joining us. All sorts of great stuff going on there. And by the way, just a reminder, on June 29th from Ad Free Shows, we're welcoming in Eric Bischoff. So that's going to be a lot of fun. One of the all-time personalities in professional wrestling history. And we will get to have him joining us. I still haven't decided what all I'm going to ask him about, but I'm going to be provocative, I think. I think we're gonna try and make Eric squirm just a little bit, Coach.
I don't know if that's a good idea. You might never have him back if that's the case.
Well, in a good way. In a good way.
In a good way. Thank you. In a good way. Just make sure you talk about American freestyle wrestling, because it's going to be a great project. I'll be there in Cleveland on August 30th.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see that either. Should be a terrific show. Well, another pretty good show that took place before Money in the Bank yesterday was the WWE and AAA combo show Worlds Collide. And we had 5 interesting matches on there. No title changes. I'm devastated that Chad Gable was not able to claim the AAA championship from El Hijo del Vikingo. Not surprised, but I was keeping my fingers crossed because it would be a great gimmick to take the AAA title a few days after this whole thing got rolling. Ethan Page survives to hold on to his North American Championship, being Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, and Ray Phoenix. Legado del Fantasma beats El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Dr. Wagner Jr., big name in AAA. Pagano and Psycho Clown, another one. Psycho Clown, man, that guy's a nut job. Stephanie McCord and Lola Vice beat Delis and Chic Tormenta. But the one that everybody is talking about, Coach, and I'm still not sure how I feel about this. I got to admit, I had never seen Mr. Iguana before.
Great.
Never seen it. But Octagon Jr. ended up getting an Intercontinental title match, by the way, at Money in the Bank. That got announced the night before. Teamed up with Mr. Iguana and Aerostar against the LWO and got the win. Mr. Iguana was getting so much attention, and for those that don't know who Mr. Iguana is, he's kind of painted up green, wearing a green jumpsuit, and brings out a stuffed iguana to his matches, which gets involved. That poor little guy was biting everybody and getting elbow dropped and doing all this crazy stuff. But Dr. Iguana is apparently now going to be a merchandising machine for WWE. I've already seen reports. They've got the T-shirts up, and they're trying to figure out how to merchandise Dr. Iguana. He's a very good wrestler, but he is a comedy guy. No doubt about that. Is Mr. Iguana going to be a long-term fixture for WWE? Because it appears that they may have struck a chord with Mr. Iguana.
Well, Vince McMahon thinks that he coined the phrase sports entertainment, but Lucha Libre, the art of Lucha Libre, is all about sports entertainment. Mr. Iguana has been around for a long time in Tripla and has been making the crowd laugh for years. He can be a spot guy at any point. He can kind of be like the Tripla R-Truth. He can be the guy that does and makes people laugh, smile. That Iguana can be like the Cobra. And I can see him having a storyline here, there, be put with different tag teams and bring some levity to the matches. Because if you've never seen him or any of the clowns or any of the little people that wrestle in you're in for a treat, because the sports entertainment value in Lucha Libre, I feel, is at the same level, if not better, WWE.
Yeah, Lucha Libre. It was interesting watching the show, and Conan was on commentary with Corey Graves, and by the way, Corey did a fantastic job. But Conan right off the bat was saying, "Look, this is not American wrestling. This is going to be something very different for you to watch." And it was. I mean, look, Lucha Libre is a very high flying act. We've seen them get a pretty good introduction to pro wrestling American fans in AEW, and now with this new relationship with WWE owning AAA, we're going to see a lot more of those guys. And I'm going to be fascinated to see how their style ends up holding up long term against a WWE philosophy that's pretty different.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be something that is going to be prevalent in WWE. I think they're going to just use it in spots to get reactions and to get laughs. But there are so many different variations of characters. There's 20 people in the clown family. You haven't even seen Dave the Clown. You haven't seen Sam Adonis coming out in his Trump persona. There is a lot to Tripla that you haven't even seen yet. You just got a taste. AEW is really focusing on the match fighting ability and the flying ability of a lot of their luchadors, and haven't really tapped into that sports entertainment side of the luchadors. But WWE is definitely going to bring in that sports entertainment part.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how the relationship turns out. By the way, Bionic Scoop's in the chat box. Got to say hi to Scoop.
Scoop. Yeah, you got to keep it silly, Scoop.
Yep. It says, keep wrestling silly. And you know what? It's fun every once in a while to have a comedic match. But so Mr. Iguana ends up being the star of the show last night at WWE AAA Worlds Collide. So check it out. And by the way, something funny happened. I gotta mention this real fast because I was watching some of the Worlds Collide show, and I was watching on YouTube, and an ad popped up in the middle of it with Christy Noman, her deportation thing. So I was trying not to laugh when that popped up in the middle of a Lucha Libre show, but okay. Good choice of ads there, YouTube. Way to go. Pretty bad. Well, let's get to start in on Money in the Bank, Coach. And we're going to not talk about the end for a little bit yet. But we have 2 new Money in the Bank winners, and they are Naomi and Seth Rollins. And I think they were pretty predictable who was going to win, even though I was still hoping for El Grande Americano, but did not happen. But first reaction to Seth Rollins winning this thing. Really, I don't think that that one was in too much question. But is there fallout for everybody else? We had Andrade, Grande Americano, LA Knight, Penta, Solo Sikoa. And we saw the big turn of Jacob Fatu on Solo. So it looks like we're going to be headed for a feud with those 2 guys. And no LA Knight winning this thing for the 3rd year in a row. Coach, right decision with Rollins. And what about everybody else?
Yeah, it went right to form. Everyone pretty much said Naomi and Seth, and it's just a continuation or a bridge of the storylines that are going to continue. I didn't have a chance to watch the matches, but I did catch some of the clips, and it seems that we're going to have a pretty wild SummerSlam. Who knows where Naomi is going to go with the title, and we think we know where Seth is going to go for it, but we'll find out soon. I like the gimmick of Money in the Bank. I know a lot of people don't enjoy that, but I find it fun, and I enjoy the whole when are they going to cash it in thing. So it's going to be an interesting summer.
Well, I think in the men's side, a couple people have got to be wondering about their careers to a point, and that's LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. They just don't want to pull the trigger on LA yet for some reason. I get this year because you're doing this big storyline with Seth and Paul Heyman and Braun and Bronson Reed. But man, there's a lot of people out there that are just really disappointed about LA Knight not getting a chance here. And Coach, do you think this is going to continue to hurt LA Knight a little bit in the eyes of the fans?
I think it just gives the fans something to cheer for. Maybe they're going to make them wait a little bit longer. The anticipation is part of the fun with professional wrestling. I've enjoyed LA Knight, but I've always thought of him more of a catchphrase than a truly viable champion. That's no knock against him. It's just the way that he's being booked right now. So I think he's going to fall in that category of Shinsuke Nakamura, where he's always going to have good matches. Might get a title here and there, but is going to be a viable and important member of the roster, but mid-card.
Well, and then you go to what happened with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. And Sikoa had the rocket strapped to his back for so long. And then Jacob shows up, and, dude, that rocket got turned into a firecracker. Solo is coming into himself in the ring a little bit more. And now he's not just the enforcer for Roman Reigns. He's funny, showing a lot of character in the ring, but man, Jacob Fatu just has completely overshadowed him. And I would imagine we're going to see the big match at SummerSlam coming up, or maybe even Night of Champions, but Solo is slipping down the card. And it's ironic that a guy that they brought into the stable with him is probably going to be taking his spot.
Hey, you can tell WWE's listening to the fans a lot. When Jacob came in, his pop and his fan reactions superseded Sikoa, and WWE fed off of that and pushed him right to the moon. That's what they're doing now. You've even seen what the whole Ron Killings thing. So they are listening to us. So fans, get out there and cheer for your guys, and they're going to get the push because that's what they're doing right now. I haven't seen where WWE is not giving the fans the pushes that they want at this time.
Yeah, and then we're going to step back, take a break, and we're going to talk about Naomi's win. And, her heel turn is paid off And I, for one, not surprised at all. But I do want to remind everybody, if you are looking to get some sports betting in and bet on wrestling, Coach mentioned it a little while ago, you can go onto the markhokeshow.com and click on the betonline.ag banner, because there you can bet on pro wrestling. It's really cool, and they have all sorts of fantastic betting on every other sport, and some pretty wild ones on there too, like volleyball and table tennis. You can bet on politics. Anything you want to throw your money down on, you can do it. Just go to markhokeshow.com and click on the BetOnline AG banner, and we got a big bonus for you, a matching bonus of 50% up to $1,000, so you can actually get $500 if you put in the code BOL 1000, and they're going to hand you $500 worth of free bets right there on the spot if you deposit $1,000. Of course, you don't have to deposit $1,000, but whatever you want to do, the more you put down, the more bonus you get. So once again, it's betonline.ag. Check that out today on our website, markhokeshow.com. All right, we come back. Let's chat about Naomi and keep things rolling. We're going to get to it, guys. I promise. R-Truth fired for apparently 3 days. Unreal. Stick around, everybody. We've got more on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Stick around.
If you need to sell your house,
talk to Aaron Taylor.
You want to sell it fast and get the most cash, talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Hello, this is Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy. Are you serious about buying or selling real estate? Then you need a team that's just as serious as you. The real estate guy, we deliver what others promise. Clear communication, professional service, and top results that you can count on.
That's right, Dad. Jacob Taylor here, the real estate guy. Whether you're buying your dream home or selling your biggest asset, do not settle for less. Work with the brand that leads with experience, trust, and proven success. With over 8,000 homes sold and 30 years in the business, we know what we're doing.
Go to therealestateguyLV.com or call 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE.
eXp Realty, license number 3886. Call for details.
talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
I'm giving you $2,200. This is Ken Goodrich of Gettle Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Starting this year, the government says new ACs must use one of two eco-friendly Freons, but there's already a shortage of one. Not the Freon, just the bottles it comes in. You get $2,200 for your old air conditioner when you trade it in on a new Gettle 5-star system before the Freon shortage leaves you icky and sticky. Gettle, Goettl. We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell. Offer ends June 30th while supplies last.
100 voices, 1,000 laughs, a massive talent. Terry Fator, ventriloquist, impressionist, and singer that tourists flock to see at the Strat. Then there is the Terry Fator who sings Broadway showstoppers, American standards, and his own original songs brilliantly while actually moving his lips. This is the Terry Fator who joins the Las Vegas Philharmonic for one very special concert in his own voice, as you've never seen or heard him before. An intimate evening with your Las Vegas Philharmonic. Order your tickets at lvphil.org or call 702-749-2000.
Hi, this is Terry Fator. No, Winston. This is Terry Fator. Please join me on Saturday, June 21st. One performance only at the Smith Center. An evening of song in my own voice with your Las Vegas Philharmonic.
Reaching Major League fans could mean Major League business for your company. Odyssey, Major League Baseball's official audio partner, provides advertising solutions for businesses like yours, looking to reach diehard fans locally, regionally, or nationally. If your next customer follows the game, it's time to step up to the plate. This message is for you. Email playball@odyssey.com, AUDACY. That's playball@odyssey.com. And the next at-bat could be yours. Major League Baseball trademarks and copyrights are used with permission of Major League Baseball. Visit MLB.com.
101.5 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it. That's pro wrestling news and entertainment here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, also on the Odyssey app worldwide and streaming on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Just look up the Mark Hoke Show. You'll find us, I promise. Coach Rosie from Ad Free Shows hanging out with us today. He did a lot of time at TNA this weekend, and he's feeling it, I'm sure, Coach. Little beat.
Yeah, it was. I worked probably 26 to 30 hours over the last 2 days doing airport runs and meet and greets. But that's the beauty of professional wrestling. It's a community, and we always want to be there for our heroes.
Very nice. Well, Coach, Naomi wins the women's side of Money in the Bank. This one, Naomi was pretty much the favorite coming in. People were thinking it was either going to be her or Rhea Ripley. But Naomi's heel turn has paid off. And I said this when she came into WWE again after leaving TNA, that she was doing the glow thing. She was starting to fall back down the card as expected. And I don't mind saying I was right about this. I said she needed to make a change or else she was going to be the same old Naomi. And this Caution Naomi has turned out to be such a blessing for her. And she is doing a great job as a heel. She's totally into it. And now at some point, in all probability, she's going to win another world championship. And I think do it in a more dominant way. If she gets a hold of one of those championships, I think she's going to sit on it for quite a while. So, Coach, your thoughts on Naomi winning Money in the Bank, and what do you think of Naomi as the heel?
It gives her a lot more creative freedom because she seems mean in those promos. So when you're a heel, you can do a different variety of movesets that will truly accentuate your evil side. And right now, Naomi looks like a girl scorn. And when there is a woman scorn, they go for blood. And whether it's whatever championship she's going to go for, she's ready to get the respect that she feels that she deserves. And I'm all for it.
Well, when she had the feud with Jordan Grace in TNA, I think everybody got reminded about just how good she is. Because those matches that she had with Jordan were unreal. And I think a lot of people, because of the character and persona that she had in WWE and she slid down the card, forgot how good she was. And she did too. She even admitted it, that TNA got her confidence back. And it's going to be fun to see her cashing in Money in the Bank. You're looking at what should be a very interesting time coming up for her. And then Jade Cargill and her will probably be battling it out for a while. Bianca will probably be in that mess too. But this is going to be a fun future for her. And I'm very happy for her, to say the least.
May I ask who won the Intercontinental Women's match? Did Becky end up winning that match? I was a little busy last night.
Yes, I was going to get to the rest of those matches. Dominic Mysterio gets the win defending against Octagon Jr. He did a quick 5-minute match because just decided to throw that in. Becky Lynch does beat Lyra Valkyria. She is the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. And Lyra had to raise her hand, and then Becky made her do it again and again and again, and made her put the belt around her waist. And then Lyra finally clocked her, so that was good. And of course, we had the Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, John Cena, Logan Paul match. But Becky Lynch is Intercontinental Champion. I got to tell you, Lyra looked great again. She wrestled super well, but Becky was mad at everybody at the press conference because they didn't stand up for her when she walked in the room. Shame on them. You stand for the champ. The Dominic Mysterio match, the Octagon, kind of a throwaway just to get that in there for the fans. But then we had the tag match, and interesting placement. This was the main event, not a Money in the Bank match. And I have to say, though, I think other than what happened at the end, to me, the standout in the match was Logan Paul. Logan looked terrific, had great character interactions with John Cena. Now, Logan Paul, people resent him a little bit because he's considered an outsider and a YouTuber and everything else. But man, he can go, dude. He can go.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Shane Helms. Shane Helms is his personal trainer. He flies down to Puerto Rico a lot. And when you have a one-on-one tutor as good as Shane Helms, and you have the athletic ability that Logan Paul already possesses, it's a great 1-2 punch, because we already know that he's a great on the mic. We already know that he's going to bring thousands of fans and thousands of haters, so his reactions are always going to be great. But then to put in the high-flying ability, the facial reactions, and the fighting, Logan can go. He's not just a celebrity wrestler anymore. He is a WWE superstar.
He did an acai moonsault onto one of the announce tables last night. That went off the ropes and flipped over and landed there, and just unreal. I mean, there's very few people on the planet that can do that. So I give him a lot of credit. Scoop resents him because he's a crypto scammer. All right, we can go there. That's a discussion for another day. And Nicole Garcia in the chat box, welcome Nicole, says, stand for the man. You bet your sweet bippy you better stand up for Becky Lynch. Shame on you, everybody. Shame on you. A press conference was something else too. Wow. But the match ended with R-Truth coming up and giving John Cena a spear and taking him out. Ends up costing him the whole thing. And a pretty interesting scene with R-Truth coming back. And we're going to get a lot more into it in hour number 2. But Coach, just initial thoughts on Ron Killings after what happened on Sunday. Whoop, there he is. How about that, Coach?
Hey, I'm proud of WWE for listening to the fans, but I'm not proud of them for trying to fib to us and say that it was a work. R-Truth's son came out and said it wasn't a work. I mean, we're not stupid, Triple H. We know that he was released, and we thank you for listening to us fans and giving us back R-Truth. People thought R-Truth was going to show up at the TNA event. People thought he was going to show up at StarCast. I mean, people started putting him in place to start the next phase of his career. But hold your horses, Triple H. Just be honest with us. You made a mistake. And thank you for bringing him back. But don't try to make us feel stupid and tell us that it was a work, because wrestling fans aren't stupid. We listen, we hear, and we read. So whether here nor there, that's the only part of it that upset me, that it made us kind of look that he's lying to us about it.
And we're going to talk about more in the second hour. But just real quick, Coach, got about a minute and a half. What is the future for Ron Killings? Could he possibly be the one to knock off John Cena? Could that happen?
Wow. I didn't even contemplate that, but
I mean, John's not going to let this go,
Yeah, but no, I don't think so. I don't think he needs the strap, but I think he will be a thorn in the side of Juan Cena from here till the end of his run. And who knows what Ron Killings can do? Not R-Truth, it's Ron Killings now. He can be put in a storyline with a broom, and that's going to get over. So wherever they put R-Truth, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think WWE may take a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to totally for sure happen, but I think there's a really good chance that he's going to get the Daniel Bryan treatment. I really do. I think there's a legit shot that because of all this, that they may decide to, even if it's for one day, give him the world championship. It would not shock me in the least. So we'll see what happens. Coach, I know you got to head out here real quick. Tell us about ad-free shows and where we can catch you.
Ad-free shows has got a big month of June. Catch us on Patreon. Also check out podcasting at our YouTube channel.
There you go. Coach Rosie. You know, follow him at Real Coach Rosie on X. Say hi to him. He'll maybe be nice to you if he feels like it, or he might start blowing that whistle. We'll see. Coach, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
See you, bud.
All right, guys. And we get back to the Mark Hoke Show, where we're going to dive more into this story with our truth and a whole lot more when we return on the Mark Hoke Show. Make sure you follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show. Subscribe on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show as well. We will see you on the other side. Stick around for another hour. We'll be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process, from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What? Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no-pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no-pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What? Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no-pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no-pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
The LGBTQ Center of Las Vegas provides a range of health and wellness services in a safe and non-judgmental environment. You can get fast and comprehensive HIV testing, as well as screening for STIs for little to no cost. Appointments are recommended, but walk-ins are welcome. Located in the heart of Las Vegas near downtown, the center also provides an on-site pharmacy. Get more information at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
There is no known safe amount of marijuana use during pregnancy. Marijuana is not safe for pregnant or breastfeeding women and their babies. Everything a mother eats, drinks, or smokes affects her developing baby or enters her breast milk. Just like alcohol and tobacco, using marijuana can have negative effects for your baby. Any form of marijuana may be harmful during pregnancy and while breastfeeding. Marijuana can affect your ability to care for your baby or someone else's baby. It is best for women to quit using while pregnant and breastfeeding. If you are pregnant or a new mother using marijuana, you are urged to seek help to quit. Pregnant women receive priority admission at state-funded treatment centers. Visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org. That's SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org, or call 211. This message sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K260HCS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
On the ground, I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. National Guard troops will be patrolling the streets of Los Angeles after 2 days of violent clashes between ICE agents and protesters.
Officials say more than a dozen people were arrested Saturday, including one who allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail that hit 3 officers. President Donald Trump took to Truth Social, saying this in part, quote, "We have an incompetent governor and mayor who were, as usual, unable to handle the task. These radical left protests by instigators and often paid troublemakers will not be tolerated." Governor Newsom had this to say, quote, "The federal government is moving to take over the California National Guard and deploy 2,000 soldiers. That move is purposefully inflammatory and will only escalate tensions."
That's Fox's Chanley Painter. President Trump is not backing off his public feud with Elon Musk, is saying there would be serious consequences if Musk funds Democratic candidates to run against Republicans who vote in favor of the GOP's sweeping budget bill. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt insisting the Musk dust-up is not distracting the president from his agenda.
The president is very much focused on delivering on his priorities for the American people, and that includes passing the one big, beautiful bill.
Caroline Leavitt on Fox Business Network's Sunday Morning Futures. And U.S.-China trade talks are set to get underway in London coming up tomorrow, Monday, after last month's talks in Geneva.
We want China and the United States to continue moving forward with the agreement that was struck in Geneva. The administration has been monitoring China's compliance with the deal, and we hope that this will move forward to have more comprehensive trade talks.
And that is White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. President Trump speaking with China's leader Xi Jinping by phone last Thursday in an effort to put the relationship back on track. America's listening to Fox News.
From around the world,
Trey Yingst, joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel.
To Washington,
I'm Mike Emanuel.
To your own backyard. If a story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
KDAWN and Desert Springs Pool and Spas have teamed up for the $65K pool giveaway. Enter now at odyssey.com/KDAWN for your chance to win. Hurry, contest ends June 30th, 2025. No purchase necessary. See website for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All righty, hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. Very happy to have you with us today as we review a wild week in pro wrestling. And, first hour, talked about what happened at Money in the Bank, what happened to TNA, what happened at Worlds Collide. But now we're going to get into the fallout. And boy, is it going to be fun. Oh, my God. Somebody made news at a press conference this time a little bit, but not in the way I think they wanted to. But we're going to talk about it with our good friend from Off Grid Creations. Make sure you go to off-gridcreations.com and get all of your embroidery, screen printing, anything you need done. You want to make a giant sign that says, "I love our truth. We want our truth," or something like that. Mike Franco can do it for you. Mike, welcome. What's going on?
How's it going? Good morning, Mark. Good morning.
Very happy to have you with us, sir. So we've gone through everything that happened at Money in the Bank. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it as we go through the show. But the return of our truth, truly shocking to everybody, because if you were with us last week, the news broke and our truth said that he was done, gone, see ya, sayonara, when his contract was up, which we heard was about a month left. He was out. People were trying to book him. TNA was apparently talking to him. They wanted to bring him back. Of course, he was former NWA world champion, and they were using that belt as the world championship in TNA for a while. But our truth shows up on Money in the Bank last night to take out John Cena and cost them that tag match. And then we went to the press conference. Holy cow. Somebody did ask, thank God. By the way, terrible press conference. Everybody just not good. But R-Truth, they asked about R-Truth, and Triple H had this response. Very simply, you enjoying the show, all part of the show. Do you know how hard it is for me to not swear on the air right now, Mike Franco? It is just unbelievable that he would say that. And Twitter blew up. There were some people saying, oh, you guys in media all got worked. No. Even R-Truth, his son said this was not a work. I did watch Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful last night, who said, look, this was done. I checked with WWE. They said he was out as soon as the contract was up. There was no question about it. This was a release, if you will, sort of. It was over. He was not going to be part of WWE anymore. And after all that confirmation and all these stories, there was no question. He was let go. But Triple H goes out there and says, oh, no.
Are you enjoying the show?
No.
Are you enjoying the show?
We didn't let Ron Killings go after his entire roster blasted them on social media, and the fans were just going nuts. They were in the chat box on their WWE presentation saying, just typing, we want truth. It was a stupid firing, bad decision. They didn't want to pay him. Well, guess what? And Nick Khan, the CFO from WWE, he was not, apparently, according to reports, R-Truth was not taking calls, was not taking their call until Nick Khan called him up on Thursday.
Yeah, he had to personally reach out to him.
Do you know what they did to him? They didn't even have like the head of talent relations. They made some underling make that call. And if you remember, Carlito got released on the same day, and then Sarah Logan got released the next day. But they had some bum. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to insult anybody from WWE. Someone a little lower on the ladder, but probably to R-Truth, he was a bum, calling him up and saying you're out. So for Triple H to get out there and say this was a work, which for those that are maybe new to wrestling, that means it was part of the show. This was not part of the show. Ron Killings was let go. And I can't believe, Mike, that Triple H just didn't get out there and say, you know what? The fans demanded it. We heard you. And so we re-signed him. We hope you're happy. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
All he had to do. But instead, it was, oh, look at me. I'm brilliant. Stop it. Stop it.
You think we're dumb? Do you think we're dumb, Hunter?
Well, Mike, what do you think of all this? I mean, I'm going to get into it a little bit more and, why I think they did it, but go ahead.
Dude, I just, they were trying to save the company some money. You know what it is. It's TKO now. Everybody's looking at the bottom line. Killings was up there, R-Truth, and he was just, they just felt, he's making good money here. We need to save a little buck here and there. And then the fans spoke. The fans really spoke. The fans and even the locker room, the vibe in the locker room was off. Everybody was, had our, Truth's back and everything like that. And then for Triple H to come out and say, and then on top of that, man, in order for him to come back, Nick had to offer him some really little sweet package, man, to put him through all that stuff all week. And then, man, we need you to come back. He's, they made him happy.
They saved no money on that one. I'm going to guarantee it. But I think that there's going to be more fallout to this than I think WWE realizes.
Poor Carlitos, this isn't a work.
Yeah.
Well, Carlitos isn't enjoying the show.
No, he's not. But internally, I think that there were a lot of shockwaves that went through the WWE roster when this happened, because we heard stories about people were checking their contracts and just seeing how long they had to make sure that they weren't in danger or anything like that. And Ron has been a mentor to so many people in that locker room. Now, you can sit there and say, yeah, he's the comedy guy. Yeah, he did the 24/7 belt, okay, big deal. But you need guys like that and women like that around to help lead, to help with situations. Everybody loved the guy. This isn't a situation where you have somebody that everybody hated and, just kind of said, screw it. I mean, the stuff that I read on X after the firing happened, man, they were devastated.
It was a big backlash, man. Like I said, the locker room was not happy, and the vibe and the tone back there, they set a tone with it, and everybody was not happy, man. And everybody was reaching out to, truth and showing support, not just the fans, but all the locker room and everybody else. And everybody was kind of blindsided by it, and everybody was like, wow, and
what sucks about that is for WWE, with all the other things that they've had going on, they have had some massive public relations nightmares since WrestleMania. The John Cena main event didn't work out. Triple H was out there telling fans to F off.
Backlash with The Rock.
You had all the stuff with Dwayne. You just had an announcement that TKO is over $3 billion in debt, the parent company. You have more stuff with Janelle Grant, Vince McMahon. I mean, it has been nonstop disaster after disaster. And by the way, of course, the most important one was the counter programming. Thank you. No, I'm just messing around. But that turned out to really make WWE look like they were money grubbers, and a lot of people called them petty. And now you did this to R-Truth. And you can say all you want, a contract heals all wounds, but it doesn't. And then you have Triple H go out and look, Paul, we know you lied. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but you lied.
Save face.
This is not all this stuff is starting to pile up for WWE. Oh, and by the way, you also had the news that the Netflix ratings were down again. They're down to half the audience that they had when the first show on Netflix. SmackDown's numbers were down. Yeah. They're having a lot of trouble right now, and now they're going to end up having to deal with this too, because I hate to say it, but Paul Levesque did not handle that well.
Not at all, man. Not at all. Like I said, it sets a precedent that they could do anything. Anybody could go at any time. It doesn't matter. There was a fan backlash for Truth, but anybody in the locker room, if you're not cutting it or whatever the case is, they could just let you go anytime. And so it's still, who could be next? What's could be the fallout from that?
That's got to be scary to everybody in that locker room. Yeah. When you see a guy like that, who I believe he's been with WWE since 2008 or somewhere in there.
Long time.
Who has done every goofy, stupid thing you could possibly ask him to do. I mean, he's done some dumb stuff on WWE. And you know what he did? He did it with a smile. He got it over. People love the guy. And you just throw him to the side like that. I mean, I would have thought that they would have given him a Legends deal, at least if you were going to let him go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give him a Legends deal or making him ambassador or some sort of position with the company instead of kicking him out the door. And if you're going to kick somebody out the door like that, and that unceremoniously, man, if I'm working there, I got to be thinking,
what chance do I got?
Right, exactly. And we got some comments in the chat box, by the way. Nicole Garcia in there saying, all right, we all knew you were in the wrong when you let him go. You made a mistake, Triple H. Now accept it. And onward the Triple H era. I'm sure there's a typo, but I think that's kind of funny. Bionic Scoop says definition of a glue guy talking about R-Truth, holds everything together behind the scenes. And Nicole Garcia brings up another good point. And it happened after his loss to Cena. For the people out there that thought this was a work, right? He got his match with John, and then he goes out and gets fed to JC Mateo, the former Jeff Cobb, and then poof.
Yep.
That made no sense. You would not book a squash match on R-Truth if you were truly saying this is part of a program that R-Truth is going to stay a thorn in the side of the WWE Universal or Undisputed Champion. That's not how you book that. No one would book it that way. So I'm really just in shock and disbelief of what they did to him. But as you said, Mike, I thought it was a great point. That contract that he got with Nick Khan kind of having to,
after putting him through all of that all week, not answering calls and all the backlash and everything, he didn't come back. Oh, okay. No.
He was mad.
He had to have a really sweet offer, bro.
I'm sure he did. And well deserved.
Very deserved for putting him through a whole hell week.
But let me throw this out to you. Now with Triple H saying what he said again. I mean, look, some of these comments that he's making, you come out to the press conference, they're like, oh, this was a record. Da, 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 da.
It's all a record every year, every week.
Yeah, because they're charging more. Mike, if I was charging $5 for a burger and then all of a sudden started charging $10 for a burger, say, look, I set a record with my sales. Well, yeah.
You doubled the price, of course.
I doubled the price. If I sold the same amount, yes, I set a record. I set a record by jacking my prices up. But where does this put Triple H's credibility with the fans? Because of some of the things that he said after WrestleMania, that he didn't like the people were going after him. And then you do this. Oh man, I gotta tell you, Trips has got to start thinking about what he's saying and maybe get a PR person in here.
Yeah, man. Like Triple H, what are the words I'm looking for? He wants to. He's just trying to save face, and you really don't know if it's a work or not. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna come out and just try to say whatever he has to say to cover up whatever the situation is. So it's like he's gonna come out and he's the one that's gonna burr all the backlash. You know what I mean? Oh, Triple H this and Triple H that, and it's like, man, just be real with the fans. You want to talk about kayfabe this and kayfabe that, and dude, it's like if you're gonna come out with it, then like you said, just said, yeah, this is what happened. We made a mistake or whatever. But what it shows is that he's unsure of himself and he's unsure of his decisions. If he was going to make a decision, he should stick with it or whatever the case is. But no, they realized what they did was wrong in the first place. So now he has to.
It is a big problem in our society, period, about saying two little words. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And all he had to do was come out, say, you know what, look, and this would have been great for him to say, we listened to you. After all the comments about we don't pay attention to what goes on the internet's not real. He said that.
Mm-hmm. He could say
if he would just come out and said, you know what, the fans, you WWE Universe told us that you want R-Truth as part of this company. We made a decision. You didn't like it, and you let us know. And, we had the whole situation with Cody Rhodes a while back, where The Rock was trying to step in for WrestleMania and take Cody's match away. And, the fans blew up. And we've seen it happen over the years. When Matt Hardy got let go during the whole Edge Lita thing, and everybody just went nuts on that, because why would you fire Matt Hardy? What did he do? Right. He didn't do anything wrong. And they brought him back. Daniel Bryan, can't say Bryan Danielson. This was the Daniel Bryan era. Was fired for the necktie thing with Justin Roberts, and they brought him back. And then, of course, the whole situation happened with him contending for the world championship. Remember the Royal Rumble that Roman Reigns won that Bryan got knocked out of, and Roman got booed out of the building, even with The Rock trying to help out that situation. They do have to listen to the fans. They do have to listen to you guys out there. They do, because eventually, if they keep doing things that are going to make the fans mad, they're going to stop buying those expensive tickets. They're going to do it. So, kudos to everybody for really jumping on that, because I remember seeing a tweet, Mike, that somebody had said, "Oh, now you care about R-Truth." How many of you tweeted about R-Truth before everything happened? Mm-hmm. And to a point, he may have a point there, but I think it was just people kind of took Ron for granted. Yeah. It's just like he pops up all the time and he's funny and he'll wrestle a match every once in a while, but he's not in the spotlight. Well, guess what, kids? Now all of a sudden Ron Killings is in the spotlight, and it's going to be fascinating to see.
Shirts are sold out.
Oh man, it's going to be
sold out.
Unreal. Buying Scoop in the chat box. Even kayfabe it into a clerical error. Say it was our fault. We heard you. We corrected it. Yeah. Just say you're sorry.
It would make them look so much better. It really would. If they would have just come out and said, you know what, we made a mistake or whatever, we listen, and then spin it to where it's like, oh, we listen to you guys, we care, and look, we care, like it would have been a good fate.
Yeah, they're having so many PR problems over there with WWE, and now all of a sudden, when you actually do something that the fans like, capitalize on it, say we're hearing it, and go from there. But welcome back, R-Truth. So then, Mike, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about, what happens with R-Truth now? Mentioned a little bit to Coach Rosie in hour one. But now all of a sudden, this situation gets incredibly fascinating, because I don't think everybody had R-Truth in the main event at SummerSlam. No. And that is a possibility. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show, Best in Pro Wrestling. Stick around.
Years before Chuck from DLC started lending y'all up to $5,000, he was a huge concert promoter. Well, as a final goodbye to the greatest rock club in the world, Chuck is throwing the biggest underplay in Vegas history at Vamped on June 10th to thank Danny and Corey for taking care of Vegas rock fans for the past 16 years.
Out of the cellar. Stephen Piercy and Warren DeMartini are back for more, playing the soundtrack of a rock generation with the music of Rat. Live Tuesday, June 10th for one night only at Vamped Las Vegas. This will be the smallest venue on the entire worldwide tour to celebrate the end of an era at Vamped. Stephen Piercy, Warren DeMartini, Tuesday, June 10th.
Also coming are Night Ranger, Loverboy, and Count 77. Vamp's last day of operation is Saturday, June 28th. Some shows are already sold out. All tickets are limited and available at vampedvegas.com.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of Life Source Water. Your tap water isn't as clean as you think. City water is full of contaminants, including chlorine that cities use to treat it. At LifeSource, we believe your water should support your family's health. Our whole house system delivers filtered water from every tap, even your showers. For over 40 years, we've proudly built every system right here in the USA. Call our factory today at 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
Your time is important to you, so it is important to us too. As a business owner, you want to spend your time focused on growing your business, not on dealing with red tape. You can safely leave that to us. At Pro Group Management, we focus on ensuring that you have the best workers' comp plan for your business. Our team of experts keeps up on all the regulatory issues and compliance updates so you can spend your time growing your business. For self-insured groups, Pro Group Management is the leader in providing Nevada's businesses with reliable, quality workers' comp programs. And we have the awards to prove it. Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you. Visit our website at pgnnv.com to receive a free cost savings analysis now. That's pgmnv.com or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Hey, let's keep it rolling. The Mark Hoke Show. Pro wrestling. It happens. We talk about it. Mike Franco from Off Grid Creations hanging out with us.
What up?
So before we get into talking about R-Truth, he may need a place to stay when he comes out to Las Vegas. And I got to recommend you going to thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show. Great discounts. And guess what, kids? In case you didn't hear, WrestleMania is coming back to Las Vegas.
Ooh.
You know what I just did, Mike? I went on thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show. Signed in.
And you booked your room?
I didn't need to book a room. But I can tell you this. There's hotels that are pretty good for under $100 a night. And a lot of them. So you might want to consider going there right now if you think you're going to be coming out for WrestleMania, and book on thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show. There's no cost to get a membership. Just sign in. And you can take advantage of all these great hotel deals powered by Priceline. All the secret prices, employee prices. Forget it. We're just going to give them to you. So get your WrestleMania hotels booked right now. Let me see.
Idea.
The Rio, $84 a night from Friday through Monday for WrestleMania weekend. There's that one. The Strat is $80. Palace Station, which is kind of right. It's like just a hair off the strip, but kind of just up across from the Rio. $78 a night. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So
and you know what the cool thing about it is in those prices are all those hidden fees everybody's talking about, resort fees and all that.
Yep.
That's the price, including everything.
Yep.
You're not going to get a hidden price anymore when you get here.
Yeah. So check it out. thetravelshark.com/Hoke Show for all your travel needs, no matter where you're going. Get you taken care of on those hotel prices. So now all of a sudden, R-Truth has messed with John Cena again. The WWE Undisputed Champion. I would imagine on his farewell tour, R-Truth costing John Cena a main event match is not going to go over well with the last great champion.
No.
Is R-Truth and John Cena your main event at SummerSlam? It's 2 nights. That sounds like a night oneer to me, at least. But is it possible that just a few days after getting fired, that R-Truth could be headed to a SummerSlam main event?
Why not, man? It's like I said, it's Cena's last ride, you know what I mean? And they're, they go way back. So to have a little a last match, would be.
It would be something.
It would be something, man. It really would. Sorry, people, technical difficulties.
Yeah, hang in there. Hang in there, Mike. I got to leave that on mute or else you echo out there. So trust me, I got the setting right. You're good. Everybody can hear you.
Everybody can hear me now?
Everybody, yeah, they've been hearing you. You're good.
Okay, cool.
Just better now.
So what was the question?
Yeah, but just R-Truth being in a possibility main event.
Oh yeah, they go way back, and this is Cena's last run, so they would both love it if they got to do it. You know what I mean? One last match between them and stuff like that, and then between everything that happened, it would be a good storyline and get a lot of people, into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean this is going to be one of the most interesting comebacks in pro wrestling history if R-Truth is main eventing SummerSlam.
Wow.
Oh my God. Fired to SummerSlam Maynard. Unbelievable.
Yep.
But yeah, so this R-Truth, and I guess we can start saying Ron Killings because I don't think he's going to go by R-Truth anymore.
Yeah, it's not R-Truth. It's Ron Killings.
That was Ron Killings in the ring. So fascinating story coming out of SummerSlam. What an unbelievable time to be a wrestling fan. But I did mention that, you know, they've got some other issues here with that debt for TKO. $3+ billion. They're in the hole. That is the parent company for WWE and UFC. And I believe they got that pro bull riding in there too, or something like that. But man, that's a lot. That's a chunk of coin. That's a lot of money.
They bit off a lot.
And, you know, I would imagine a lot of it is from buying WWE, and they do have cash assets and other things to somewhat offset that. But if you wondered why all this pricing was going on and everything going uppity, well, now you know why. Is they got to make this up. And another thing that they're doing to make this up that I am just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you're in merchandising. You understand this concept very well.
Mm-hmm.
We now have Slim Jim logos on the tables underneath the ring. So snap into a Slim Jim table.
Yeah.
And yesterday, the Fireball whiskey ladders, which Chad Gable on a promo had to hawk Fireball whiskey.
Mm.
And then Michael Cole was hawking Fireball whiskey during the match. Are they going, Mike? I get it. I get it. You know, look, if someone came in here and said, Mark, we want to put Fireball whiskey across your chest. Okay, sure. Why not? But it's such an interruption to a promo and a match. Look, it's the Fireball whiskey ladder. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could go for a shot of Fireball right now. You can pick it up at your local liquor store. Order online, fireballwhiskey.com. I don't know what their website is.
Like whatever.
But, Mike, are we getting out of hand with this stuff?
You know what? I saw we were getting out of hand when I saw 7-Eleven on the turnbuckle. When I saw 7-Eleven on the turnbuckle, I was like, oh no, we lost our way. And then Cash App on the Money in the Bank briefcases.
That's funny.
I mean, because it's Cash App, that is kind of funny, but still, they branded the suitcase. They branded the ladder. It's getting a little overboard. I also heard that wrestlers are going to be able to start making their own sponsorship deals, which now they're going to be rocking whatever sponsors merch down like NASCAR.
Well, and you see a lot of the sports teams recently in the United States. I mean, this has been going on in Europe, but a lot of them have a sponsorship that they have on their jerseys.
A lot, man. A lot.
So wrestlers wearing that. I mean, I saw somebody made one up yesterday of Liv Morgan with the golden arches across her chest, which was once again pretty funny. But you know, but as someone who does merchandising, Mike, do you recommend going that far? Do you think, as someone in the business, that it's okay?
Personally, if you want to put your brand on something, give it to me. Let's get it going. But but in certain scenarios like wrestling and stuff like that, it's supposed to be sacred and pure and stuff like that, and you're supposed to have respect for the sport. And if you're cashing in on everything, it kind of cheapens it a little bit. You know what I mean? You kind of sold the fire. We grew up watching wrestling. It's like family kind of oriented. Yeah, they go overboard and they go red and all that stuff, but it's like, it's mostly a family show. I've never known WWE or anybody to start hawking alcohol like that. They never did, and then now all of a sudden the fireball ladder. Wait a minute.
And look, I will say that I have purchased things over the years because they were a sponsor of wrestling.
Right.
they're backing something I love, and that's how these guys are getting paid. So I can go out and support that. But in the middle of a Money in the Bank ladder match, you're talking about, we got to get out the special Fireball whiskey ladder for El Grande Americano. Make sure it's there.
And it's the biggest and tallest one.
Yep. It's the tallest, mightiest ladder of them all.
Yeah.
But, and like I said, I understand. But there's just something that doesn't feel right about it. And you go back to what WWE has been saying, or people have been saying about WWE, that they've been very money hungry, that the bottom line is all that matters. You're coming off the R-Truth thing, the splitting or counter programming AEW. It just, to a point, it's stacking up. It's stacking up. And you don't want to be seen as the greedy company. You don't. It's just, I don't know. But I had to bring it up because, maybe I'll go buy a bottle.
See?
No, I'm not buying a bottle. I got some Fireball at home as is. Trust me, I'm about ready to drink it.
There you go.
But there was another contract situation, by the way, that came up this week. If you didn't see this one, apparently WWE doesn't think that Roman Reigns is worth what they're paying him either.
I did hear that.
Did you see this story?
I did hear that.
So his contract is a base $5 million contract, but then he gets all sorts of extra revenue coming in from appearances, being on the pay-per-views, video game deals, merchandise royalty. And by the way, he gets 30% of the merch. That's a lot.
For what they're selling that merch for, that is a lot.
That is a ton of money. And appearance bonuses. Plus, he gets a cut of ticket sales too. That's an old school bonus there. So apparently, it comes out to about $15 million a year. And TKO wants to renegotiate his contract because I think he's making too much. Now, I got to ask a question. What has been the hottest period for WWE in the last 15 years? Mike, what is it?
Right now.
Well, no, in terms of TV ratings and everything else?
Well, I mean, they were in a slump there for a little while back in the day.
They were in a slump for a while.
Big slump.
Until somebody
they were pushing Roman for a long time.
Started the bloodline.
Yep.
And now Roman's off TV and the numbers drop. I cannot begin to tell you how crazy I think this is that they want to renegotiate Roman Reigns' contract. This is another thing that came out this week along the same lines with a couple of releases, the R-Truth situation. It's stunning to me. It's stunning that you're going to ask Roman to take less money. Probably other than John Cena and The Rock, Roman is the most well-known person in the public arena. I think that's a pretty fair statement.
Mm-hmm. He's up there.
Why would you screw with him? I mean, I put a tweet out saying, man, I'll tell you what, Tony Khan will pay him $15 million. He'll pay him a lot more than $15 million.
Yeah, Tony will. So
yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
WWE is not infallible,
No.
They think that they can make all these decisions and we're just going to be happy and have to go with it. But as you can see with the R-Truth situation, it's like, money talks, and if we're making a voice and letting them know, they have to listen. But until that happens, they're just going to keep charging outrageous prices and keep doing crazy things like that with talent to try to save money.
And when you look at the period that was going on before the bloodline got rolling, the ratings were down. The live show numbers were down. AEW was outselling them. I mean, it was funny that they do shows in the same venue, and AEW for a little bit was actually outselling them.
Yeah.
And the ratings were climbing up. Dynamite was just about ready to catch Raw, and then boom, Roman they did their thing with Roman and Paul Heyman and snapped out of it and ushered in this golden era. Man, I would not be screwing around with a goose that got you there. No, sirree, Bob. Bad idea. But hey, you know what? Do I run TKO? No, it's okay. I'm sure they care about my opinion.
Right.
Not. Anyway, let's take a break. And when we come back, got some other fun little stories that came up over the week we're going to hit. Like, well, let's see. We've got a new return coming up. We've got some interesting issues in AEW trying to set a matchup. And another wrestler announced they have a cancer scare. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Manny at Fetchatech, the best plumbing and AC company here in Las Vegas. And you know, I have to tell you that I love my dog, Ollie. And that's why we'll give you 10% off any plumbing or AC repairs if you have a pet in the house. Not kidding. At Fetchatech Air Conditioning and Plumbing, we show up on time, we keep our word, and are as loyal as your favorite dog. So what you waiting for? Call or Google Fetchatech and get an automatic 10% discount on repairs or get a $49 AC tune-up. And as we all know, you can always trust someone who loves dogs. So call Fetchatech. We're doggone good and we're doggone fast. And if you have a pet, you get 10% off plumbing or AC repairs and a $49 tune-up. So call Fetchatech right now at 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetchatech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech and we'll come a-running.
Fetchatech, service that's a breed apart.
In a world parched for excitement, Twisted Tea's your refreshing thrill ride of flavor. The hard iced tea that's smooth, made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/score. That's ethos.com/score.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
If Twisted Tea was your best friend, they'd start a dance party in the supermarket that turns into a pool party at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea is smooth, refreshing, and always fun. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Alrighty, kids, one more segment of the Mark Hoke Show coming up for you. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I was getting a little too relaxed in my chair. I'm like, I gotta fix that up. I'm gonna lose my radio voice if I'm don't have my abdomen stretched out properly, but we're having a great time here. Oh, it's been a hell of a weekend, or a hell of a week too, in WWE and around the pro wrestling world. We even had some controversy around The Miz, who scared everybody because he pulled all the WWE references off his X account. And everybody thought, wow, they got rid of R-Truth. Now they're going to get rid of Miz.
Another one.
But Miz said, no. We're all good. But it sure gave everybody a little bit of the fear of God on that one. Yeah. Boy, could you imagine, Mike, if they'd have fired The Miz? Jesus.
What message would that have sent?
Would have been a terrible move too, because he's going to be hosting American Gladiators.
Right.
Man. But it's just strange that he pulled all that stuff off his X account. I don't know why he did that, but
he didn't give an explanation for that yet.
No. I think he kind of did.
It's a work.
Let me that might have.
Are you enjoying the show? That's going to be my new thing. You enjoying the show?
Yeah,
you're enjoying the show, right? You enjoying the show?
Oh my god! But yeah, the Miz is okay, so everybody chill out. But we do have a comeback happening on Raw tomorrow night. So along with the the Jey Uso Gunther championship match, which they are setting up that Jey is just destroyed and his body can't go anymore. Please, Nikki Bella, returns to WWE.
Saw that was coming.
Wow. Mike, are you excited about Nikki Bella coming back?
Just she hasn't been there for a while. It's gonna be good to see her back, you know?
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, they were a big part of it for a while, dude. The Bella Twins.
They were part of the Divas era.
Still,
the Divas era.
That is true. But they were popular.
Oh, absolutely.
And people will like to see them back, I think.
No, and Nikki's done well for herself. Went out and did a bunch of different TV shows, was doing that Barmageddon show for a while. That was a lot of fun. Right. But Nikki Bella coming back is just, oh man. Well, let's see. Nicole Garcia in chat box. You can look, but you can't touch. Excuse me. Yes, I'm so excited. I wonder why, Nicole Garcia. Just saying. If you don't know, that's her real name.
Yeah.
So I think we have a biased fan in the box, but I will say it's going to be very interesting to see how they use her.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because she is from a different era of women's wrestling. Things are starting to transition from the true divas, bra and panties match nonsense.
Yes.
To, the Evolution era and, the 4 horsewomen and everything else. But Nikki did a pretty good job. So I'm going to give her a shot. We'll see how it goes. But it will be, but where she fits in with this group of women that are so talented and this roster is so deep.
Yeah, that's
she's going to have to work her way up on this one for sure. And she better be ready.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good talent, a lot of good women's talent. And then, she's been away for a while. So she needs to see if she can hang with the new crew. You know what I mean?
And that could be a problem. But we'll find out. I mean, she's talented, so I'm sure she can. I'm sure she can do it. A little AEW news, and I thought this was very entertaining. So, of course, All In's coming up next month, and part of the plan was to have FTR take on a certain reunited tag team. That would be Cope and Christian. Of course, if you don't know, Cope, Adam Copeland, Edge. Of the Edge and Christian fame. So this was apparently on their docket. But the problem that they're having is it's not anybody doesn't want to wrestle anybody. It's what do we do with Christian? What do we do with Christian? Because he's a bad guy. He's the head of the patriarchy. So to team him with Cope, at least storyline, there's some things that are going to have to get resolved one way or another to be able to put those two together. But people want this match, but at the same time, how do you do it? Mike, do you think AEW could pull this off, that they could get these two guys together in time for All In?
In such short notice like that? I don't know. Like you said, they have to storyline it up to where it could mesh well, because Christian is the bad guy. He is the heel. So it's like you have to. I don't know how you would figure that out in such a short notice.
Yeah, I mean FTR attacking Christian doesn't seem to make sense, but
no,
I don't know. Maybe you come up with the best tag team of all time and
Yeah, man.
go after this guy. I don't know, but
it is Edge and Christian.
It is Edge and Christian. So that match on the verge there. By the way, another Nicole Garcia is just nailing in the chat box. Just real quick, talking about Nikki Bella. She'll probably have a big part in the Evolution PLE. Imagine Stephanie Vaquer, giving her the devil's kiss. I think the devil's kiss is stupid. They said it was the most scintillating move in WWE. Ugh. No. And she's also going to sort of talk about Mariah May. Yeah, we kind of hit Mariah pretty hard last week, but yeah, she's not Mariah May.
No.
They introduced her without a name.
Did they?
Because they're changing her name because they want to be able to trademark it. But Mariah, I mean, now she's going to get me going. Thank you, Nicole Garcia. What is Mariah May doing in NXT? Are you kidding me?
Right.
After what she just did in AEW, and you just can't put her on the main roster? I think part of it is that they just sent Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Vaquer up to the main roster, but she doesn't belong in NXT. Come on.
No.
Really? Not buying that.
No. She deserves better.
She does, but you know what? As long as the paycheck clears, I'm sure she's not complaining too much.
Yep.
Yeah. But some health news. We had hit a bunch of health stories last week with some wrestlers. JR, by the way, had his surgery. Apparently he's going to be all right. They took care of it, and he's just on the road to recovery. So we want to wish JR all the best. But now Ric Flair, who ironically had made a joke to JR about stealing attention away. And by the way, I know people were sensitive to that, but come on, that was kind of fun in a macabre way. Was funny. Was.
That's what he was going for.
That's what he was going for. Oh yeah, JR always stealing the attention, huh? And they're friends. You're joking around.
Yep,
People took that way too seriously. But now Ric Flair, who denied it first, has been diagnosed with skin cancer for the second time. So we want to wish the Nature Boy all the best.
Yeah,
Hope
man.
he's doing okay.
Speedy recovery, man.
Yeah, so take it easy there. But yeah, what a crazy week. But
it has been a crazy week in wrestling.
Yeah, and and part of the fun of this, and it's kind of sad to a point that we know as much as we do, because I think having started watching wrestling in a very different era, not knowing the stuff that was going on behind the scenes really, I think, added to things. Made it feel more realistic. But at the same time, learning about all this business stuff and all these machinations behind the scenes is just unreal. It's absolutely unreal. I mean, all people are going to be talking about for the next week or so is R-Truth.
Yeah.
And like I said, TKO, I don't know, man. They've got to be careful, Mike. They've got to be careful, because they're going to, with all this stuff piling up, they're going to have a PR problem. And that's the last thing that they want. Plus, the fates of TKO also, carry UFC too. So, UFC's tied at the hip now, man. And I'll tell you what, that occasionally maybe you don't want to be tied to that hip.
Right, man. Like I said, like we were talking about, man, it's been nothing but PR nightmares for this whole time, dude, since WrestleMania. Now they announced WrestleMania again, and everybody was already complaining about the prices and all of the, I'm sure they'll smooth out all of the, what do you call it? Logistics, having one event here, having another event here, having to travel across town, multiple events stacked up on each other. You know what I mean? Hall of Fame going till 3-4 in the morning. I'm sure they'll smooth all that out, but it's like it was a lot. It was a lot. And so there were complaints. It was a good WrestleMania, but everybody was talking about how pricey and chaotic it was. So
but the one thing about Las Vegas that I think people forget is just logistically, it's a very easy city to navigate when you're talking about having all these events, because it's so close together. A lot of places, the stadium's way outside the city, or you're in New York or someplace like that where it's just impossible to get around. Here it has its moments, but it's nothing like that. It's a pretty good place to do WrestleMania. So looking forward to the return of WrestleMania, April 18th and 19th here in Las Vegas. And
crazy.
That's going to wrap it up for us. I want to thank Coach Rosie for joining us. Mike, thank you for sitting in. Do appreciate it. Make sure you check it out, off-gridcreations.com. Free consultation for your brand right now. Give them a call. And what's that number, Mike?
661-300-1115. Call me. I'll take care of you.
All right. Guys, we will see you next week on the Mark Hoke Show as the road to All In and SummerSlam. Oh, my God. I can't believe it is underway. So we'll see you next time, guys. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Just join us and be part of the family. We'd certainly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Have a great day, everybody. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.